Good morning, everyone. We are back with another fireside chat. This time, the topic is going to be digital advancements which are revolutionizing the retail and e-commerce space. Now, digitalization, as we all know, is driving transformation across industries, including and especially so in retail and e-commerce. And that's particularly because with increased internet penetration, there has been a rapid shift in consumer behavior, broadening the industry's operational scope itself. Now, to put things in perspective, India has about 70 crore internet users, about 700 million specifically. And from a business perspective, the report by the Internet and Mobile Association of India, that is IAMAI, says that around half of these people, that is about 35 crore people, 346 million to be precise, engage in online transactions. So this is the active market size. Right? When we say online transactions, we are referring to e-commerce and digital payments and so on and so forth. And this is bigger than the entire population of the United States of America. That is the market size in India right now of people who are already online buying stuff or at least transacting. One of the reasons for the predictable boost in e-commerce and retail businesses is the adoption of an omni-channel business strategy that aims to provide a seamless shopping experience across all channels, now including be it in-store, mobile, online, etc. Businesses must meet consumers where they are today, rather than pull. It has to be more of push. I mean, you have to go to where they are right now, and we have to provide a consistent, seamless experience across all channels, and that exactly is what's going to build up loyalty and keep customers coming back for more. Increasingly, warehouses are also adopting automation as a service technologies, which allow them to adjust resources to meet fluctuations in demand. Cost management, priority deliveries, and distribution channels can be more flexible with these systems. Emerging and rapidly growing technologies such as AI, AR, VR, analytics, ML, and online payment gateways such as UPI are driving the next growth revolution in the Indian e-commerce domain. Companies are heavily leveraging these technologies today to influence consumer behavior, strengthen their supply chains, and significantly expand operations in Tier 2 and Tier 3 markets in India. Now, organizations such as Amazon, Flipkart, GoIbigo, Ola, Zomato, Ixigo, you name it, all these companies have employed voice assistants to assist customers with queries, thereby improving customer satisfaction. But there is also a spillover effect in the fact that most of these jobs which were heretofore performed by human beings is now getting automated away. So to provide us with some insights on the pace at which digitalization is happening in the world, and especially so in India, thanks to the pandemic as well, it was probably the perfect storm that helped us here. We have on the call Mr. Tanmay Parekh, right? Thank you so much for joining us today, Tanmay.
Thanks, Bala.
Yeah. So Mr. Tanmay Parekh comes with over 16 years of extensive experience across various industries like FMCG, FMCD, and has worked in organizations of different sizes as well, and worked in multiple domains. Being a part of companies like Prabhat Dairy, Videocon Consumer Durables, HUL in business HR roles, now he is working with one of the biggest retail companies, that is Jockey India. And at the designation of DGMHR and leading HR business partner of channel sales, he's been the winner of top 40 HR professionals under the age of 40 by John Deere. I would have actually thought, looking at you, you would have won the top 30 under 30, Tanmay, but still, nevertheless.
That was different. It was a mentorship for those people. That's a different win. Recent win. It's a recent development. Yeah.
Perfect. No, you look so young, this is why I thought.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
Yeah. So, Tanmay, just to begin with, would like to understand from you and your expertise and experience across various industries, how are technological advancements really impacting the retail and e-commerce industry today? And you can give the context of fashion, could be FMCG, so on and so forth.
Okay, so I think it's a very broad question in terms of e-commerce and retail. So let me go one by one. Okay, let me pick one to start with, and then I can cover the other part of it. E-com is something where I think it has evolved very dramatically over a period of time. In early 2000, 2003, 4, the eBay was one of the platform where they started, and it was very, very Greek and Roman for most of the people in terms of how to go for it. The e-commerce itself was a new terminology at that time, and people are really skeptical in terms of how to really go for it, whether it is reliable or whether it is the right way of doing the shopping through a portal or not. That was something which was the concept to start with. And a lot of things have evolved over a period of time in terms of payment system, in terms of flexibility. And so I think it's an entire curve which has been carved out over a period of time. And today, if you really ask me, there are two ways to look at e-commerce. One is e-commerce where there is a marketplace model, there is a complete company which is completely dependent on this channel to go to market strategy. That is one way of looking at it. And second, where it is offshoot of the overall channels through which they are selling the market, their products or services in the market. Now, if you really ask about the technological advancement, definitely the first part where whether it's a marketplace model or it's a e-commerce is the only channel, okay, through which they are selling the product or services. Obviously, the technology advancements are very immense because the level of investment, because they now all players what they definitely want to ensure that they are giving a excellent experience, personalization, and also to ensure that they are really able to engage the consumers in such a way that they can have the only channel through which they really want to go further and they can have a better wallet share or market share altogether. The moment you are switching into the second side of it, when this is one of the offshoot of the go-to-market strategy for any of the other product or services, it all depends on what is the overall contribution into the total sales. Suppose let's say there is an organization which is running through all different kind of channels, and e-commerce is one of the channels in that particular arena. Based on the percentage contribution, they will decide what type of investment I want to go for it. Today, AI, machine learning, all these things, whether really making sense for me in terms of the overall contribution, because all the product-based companies, all the traditional and brick and mortar companies, definitely they are aware about it. We cannot go by the gross margin, the GMV and the new metrics of the recent startups and the e-commerce. You cannot go for those metrics. So you have to ensure that you are profitable enough. You are not doing cash burning, and you have to go for a systematic and phase-wise investment as far as technology is concerned. So tomorrow, the data mining, data crux, which is very much traditionally highly invested by the first set of categories of companies, which I said, obviously it will not be there in the second side of it. But because of pandemic and because how the technologies are getting converged, because you already mentioned about the omni-channel a few minutes back, okay, when you are setting the context, I think everybody is aware about it. You cannot ignore that channel. My consumer is also going there. So I have to ensure that I am having a reasonable amount of engagement over there. Depending on the percentage contribution in my total, I will decide and I can have better level of investment over a bit of time. That's the way normally we are going for it. As far as retail is concerned, the second part of your question. So yes, retail is also again evolved based on the varieties of channels over a period of time. So today, suppose let's say company-owned, company operated, company-owned, franchisee operated, franchisee-owned, company operated, or franchisee-owned, franchisee operated. All types of different formats depending on the level of investment and the asset-light model. There are companies who wants to put it asset-light model. They will not be too much gung-ho about the technological advancement for FOFO model. But the same company tomorrow, you want to go for COCO model, obviously they will be cutting edge with QR code, the contactless interventions, POS level technology investment in terms of the footfall and conversion. They will go for all types of metrics where they will try to inbuild the technology to ensure that they are getting the good return of investment. So again, it is all depends on which type of format, and again it also depends on the product life cycle. There are few companies who started with COCO model in an initial way in a retail, but they have evolved over a period of time with the FOFO and FOCO model, which is the very much prominent in today's time. So I think it all depends on nature of business, the type of engagement, and also how my TG is also getting evolved, how my target group is also getting evolved. I will decide in terms of my level of investment which I want to do as far as technology is concerned. And at the end of the day, everybody is looking at what is the, because initially you are always very much optimistic in terms of the investment because you are going from a long-term point of view, but there has to be a checkpoints over a period of time whether it is really making sense for me. So most of the good players are always doing pilot testing. They will go for a specific level of stores or level of scale. They will first of all test it out. If it is really making sense, then only they will go for a larger side of it. And then again depends on what type of proposition we want to give for my end consumer. I will try to invest further and I will try to be in line with the overall industry development. That's the way organizations are approaching.
Yeah. Got it. Perfect. Thanks so much. Now, as you rightly said, this is more of a broader question, but now specifically, if you were to look at emerging technologies like AI, ML, AR, VR, digital analytics, etc., how is this really going to impact workforce management and productivity management of the same? And let's talk about a very specific context of, say, channel workforce, right? Because I mean, you are the HR VP for that. How are you going to use these sort of emerging technologies to be able to help you, get the most out of your workforce?
I think, see, I'm not a person who will be really foreseeing in terms of any issue in terms of introduction of technology. I think it is definitely going to enable the productivity. Obviously, there will be gestation time whenever you are introducing any new technology or any new processes altogether in any channel for that matter. Obviously, there is always a gestation period, but I think it is going to enable. So I will give one specific example. There was a time in whether it is a FMCD or any of the retail companies traditionally in past, okay, things were always used to be manual interventions were there in terms of their log sheets, in terms of how they are doing the entire process of the day, and everything was very much, it was very mundane and very manual in nature. Now over a period of time, there are sales automation tools have come into picture, and obviously now everyone knows before entering the outlet, I know what is the overall hygiene factors of this particular, I know that buying trend, I know the specific persona, I know what type of things they are, what is the purchasing pattern of this particular store, when he's purchasing, what is upselling and cross-selling opportunity. I think everything is nowadays available in the tips of the things. The biggest challenge is how we are going to leverage it. Now there is not a problem of information. So as you rightly said, AI, machine learning, yeah, there are a lot of analytics, a lot of predictive things are available in advance to the salesperson who is going there, or let's say somebody is already there working as an in-shop promoter, suppose, let's say. A lot of data points are already available. Now the thing is that, am I really equipped enough to ensure that what type of proposition I am supposed to give to my end consumer? Whether somebody is coming into the retail store, what I'm supposed to know based on the overall TG, what I'm supposed to put across, and what will be the right proposition, how to go for upselling. Okay, now this is something which cannot be only done by any e-learning course or only by just reiteration from a classroom training intervention. It needs to be shown by the people over a period of time. It has to be on-the-job training, which is going to make a lot of difference. This is one part of it. And second is, this type of tools are sometimes initially, whenever any company is getting launched, it has always been looking at like a policing tool. People are thinking that yes, they want to track each and every moment of us, okay, or they want to understand what every hour is happening. That's not the intention about it. It's more about the constructive discussion which can be done. So instead of telling why you're not able to sell, if I'm having a technology in place, I will say, oh, what is the overall footfall? Suppose let's say pure retail scenario, what is the overall footfall? Which are the number of customers where you are really able to pitch your product? What is the conversion rate? What are the objections? And how I'm going to solve it? So entire cycle can be done with a very systematic way. You can have a constructive discussion why things have not been converted into final outcome. Suppose in a reverse scenario, in a channel scenario also, you can definitely understand how many outlets that person has covered. Okay, what are the things have happened? You know already the scenario of that particular buying pattern and what is the overall purchasing trend of that particular outlet. And you can have a more constructive and more fruitful discussion why the person is not able to do it. So I am honestly speaking, I think it is more, and people are becoming more sharp in terms of their pitching, in terms of their objection handling, in terms of how they are closing the sale. So honestly, I am not finding any challenge because of this. Obviously, these are now another enablers. This all AI, VR and all these things, they are actually helping you with a lot of data mining. So tomorrow you are not wondering about it. I have to go for some records or some randomly, you are not going and pitching something. If you know what is your beat plan, you know how many times you are going and connecting this. Based on the data mining available in as an advancement, if you are already aware about these data points, you will be easily able to pitch the right things. Same way, if I know what is the purchasing pattern, what is competition is doing, what others are doing it, I will be able to do the right pitching when end consumer is coming. So it's a win-win on both the sides. So honestly, I'm not finding any challenge with respect to, it's fine. Technology is playing its own role. They are not replacing us. What major trend is coming? The transaction part is now becoming smoother compared to past. The thinking and feeling part of the thing, which is whether it is an HR or any of the other domain also for that matter, that part cannot be replaced by any other technology. So there our human beings will come into picture and they can have a cutting edge compared to the technology side of it.
Got it. So well said. So you're saying that irrespective of technological advancements and everything, I mean, we'll still have to apply some thought to whatever data is there, because now data availability is not in question. It's just up to us as to what to do with the data, which is where our intelligence comes into the picture as well. Because sometimes, too much data can also dilute the quality of whatever interpretations you can draw from the data and conclusions from there on as well. So that brings me to my next question exactly. I mean, since you said that, it places even more importance on the human beings who are looking at the data. I wanted to understand from your side now, with this kind of technological advancement, is there going to be a net growth in jobs, or is there going to be a net reduction in jobs? Is technology going to eat into jobs, or is technology going to just change the nature of jobs and hence there is going to be more jobs, or is it going to be the same? What do you think?
No, I think nature of jobs will be changed. I'm not finding it too much. Yeah, there might be initial because of the initial euphoria, somebody might be predicting that jobs will be cut or jobs will be increased. So let's not become like a Nostradamus kind of any prediction. But I will say its nature of jobs are going to be the type of engagement which we are doing it. So today in e-commerce, earlier it was more about how exactly you are able to put across your product or services, and it's more about the cosmetic things, which was always only mattering a few years ago. Now it is more about, now they are applying analytics, and I know what will be the customer sensitivity, what type of ratings are coming, what will be unique proposition which I can give you based on your buying trend, and what should be predictive. I should be having a predictive analytics, and I should be offering something which will ensure that you are able to do upselling and cross-selling. Okay, now this is something where you require a more data mining, more intelligence, and things will be more into the strategic side of it, rather than just simply doing the catalog management. The simple vanilla catalog management is not going to help, okay, in coming times. Or it will be not only the product proposition or just photo shoots and you just put the products on e-commerce. It's not going to well. Whether you are able to give them experience today, whether it's apparel, there are a few categories where you have a tendency of having a touch and feel, but there are a lot of software, a lot of things nowadays available there. You can see in terms of how will we look and feel, what type of things. So it's nearer to the touch and feel possibility, which is very much there right now. A lot of platforms are already doing this type of things, especially those platforms where this is the only avenue through which they are selling the products. I think they're already in the top side of the edge. So in a similar way in retail also, for that matter, if I want to give the retail example also, I think it is not going to be the typical pitching is not going to help. Now it's more about the intelligence, what type of TG is required, and I have to have in a limited time slot, how I'm going to have a right proposition which I'm going to pitch. So I think this is something which is going to be a fact of life. So I'm not finding any issue in terms of reduction of jobs. Yeah, but nature of jobs will dramatically, it will be thing, and I think people have to upskill themselves. Okay, and it's not organizations who will be only, there are few organizations who are ensuring that their employees are getting upskill in a specific phase manner. They are having their set of investment which they are doing it well in advance, and they are always ensuring that they're not sitting on their laurels and they are investing in their people. So it will always give the final result. But even though if organization is not doing this type of things, there are always nowadays a lot of options are available where one can definitely upgrade oneself over a period of time based on the type of skill set which are required. So I don't find any challenge in terms of number of jobs getting cut or it is getting increased. But yeah, nature of job will definitely going to change. That's the conclusion from my side.
Got it. Perfect. So if nature of jobs are going to change, what do you think are going to be the skill sets which will come into play in the future in a big way? And how do we make sure what kind of training, right? Or what kind of upskilling or courses or any such initiatives or interventions from your side you think you need to do in order to make sure that your workforce is able to acquire those skills which are going to be useful in the immediate future?
I think the HR departments, the learning and development departments have to now stop doing the superficial or helicopter view going onwards, okay, in terms of training and identification or just simply pick and choose from some available market courses and something from outside. It's not going to work now. One has to really deep dive and understand what type of competencies are required in coming days, you have to really do the proper competency mapping followed by what is the current status, and then you have to find out the gap areas. Now this might be a little bit theoretical in a face value, but this needs to be really do it in a clear spirit way first of all, and then you should go for a customized program. So there it might be you can always have a leverage of the external partner, or it might be some people who are already available in-house also. So you have to have a blend of both the things, and you have to come up with proper upskilling program. Because now what is happening, see, there is always a trend, and now everybody is going for AI, but I have to understand at which evolution stage my company is in terms of AI. I will not go for any standardized program or I will ask someone to do. So again, I will give you one specific example. Let's say Power BI. It's a now fashion nowadays. Every organization is telling, I want to go for a Power BI program. Now Power BI is not going to help you. Standard programs are not going to help you. You have to, I ask these people to come, let them do diagnostic along with your internal stakeholders who are the right people. You have to really partner it in such a way that it's really becoming customized program, and you are having various phases on which you can have a proper intervention followed by a result which is coming out of it, and then you can always upgrade yourself in a phase manner. So I will say, instead of going for any standard programs, instead of going for any directly available plug and play kind of solution which is available in market, it will not directly help. It will be more like a tick in the box. Instead of that, it's better to have a proper diagnostic followed by, if you are making it customized and personification for that particular program based on your organization need, I think we can easily build up on this, and things are available nowadays. The only pitfall is that if you're not doing this type of things in a true spirit, you will end up with costing some crores of rupees, and then you don't know. At 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line, somebody will do a review, and then they will say, okay, what is the outcome, what is the ROI of this program? So it was not only tick out the box. You are also partnering with them, HR and L&D. I think they should hand in hand with these people, and we have to ensure that we are providing and we can be part of the journey for upskilling of this people of the organization.
So you're absolutely right, and that sort of resonates with me as well, because what ends up happening is, unfortunately, that they put aside a certain budget for L&D, and unfortunately a lot of companies just end up spending it in very high level superficial stuff, like you rightly said, which is not really going to deliver any direct business impact, right? So whatever interventions we make have to have measurable, tangible business outcomes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if it doesn't really lead to that, then as you rightly said, it's just a check in a box, right? I had so much budget and here it is. I've spent it on something which I think hopefully at some point in time in the future may not give results, right? Yeah. So there is that. And more to the point, just wanted to pick your brain on that point a bit more. So can you give some examples of certain such superficial trainings which probably have been done in the past for whatever reason, which might become irrelevant in the future? And what kind of unique interventions or trainings do you think we can do in the future, and how do you think we can measure the outcomes of these trainings as well? That will be interesting for our audience.
See, I'll tell you, let's not go for any complicated thing. I'm just telling a very small example. Let's say Excel training. It's a most general and most primitive kind of thing people are telling. Excel training, suppose. Okay. Now, there are multiple e-learning courses available. There are multiple institutes. We are also giving Excel kind of training. There are 600 rupees to 6,000 rupees kind of specific tenure courses are also available. Tomorrow, if you really want to bring this type of course, instead of just simply taking this course and either put it into e-learning platform or just to have some intervention, somebody is coming for 2 days, 3 days program, it's not going to work. Ideally speaking, there has to be a very robust T&I process. Okay, what exactly is the need? Where exactly the gaps are available, and based on that you should actually make a customized module. Okay, so the thing is that, see, if you're not making it customized module, at the end of the day, so there is a very famous Kirkpatrick model. I don't require to explain. It's more about the reaction and then behavior, and then ROI part will come into picture. So my point is that I think the most important part is the T&I itself should be very, very specific. The training need identification should be first of all specific, followed by you are having a customized based on the diagnostic, based on the gap area. There has to be a customized program which needs to be developed, followed by it should be driven after pre and post test, and after all this thing you should be also doing in terms of behavioral change or in terms of technicality of the change which is required from that specific individual by the line manager or by the HOD of the thing. And also after that, what type of improvement has come in terms of overall productivity of that individual. Okay, so it's not only about just simply conducting Excel program. Okay, so this is a very small, very generic program, but generic example I have given. Same way today, suppose let's say a lot of leadership development programs. It's like an entire different industry altogether. Okay, leadership development program, we have to do this specific thing. Now the problem is that if I'm not having proper my behavioral as well as functional competency in place, okay, and if I'm expecting someone to deliver an X level of some leadership competency which I'm aspiring, if it is not been properly mapped, if this exercise has not been properly done, it will be like some signature programs are nowadays available in market. You will go, you will have this thing, it will be a good feel-good factor. The only pitfall of this program, after that, you don't know what is the actual impact. And tomorrow, 1 year down the line, if you really ask and check with the line managers or their HODs that what happened to that guy in general, that person will say, I don't know whether there is a program effect or it's an overall improvement which he has done on his own side. So there is no specific measurable this possible. But if you have really made it with the right milestones, okay, if you really make it from the beginning, if you know what type of milestones you are aspiring from someone, because it's a journey. Leadership development programs cannot generate results in 3 months, 6 months so easily. It's a behavioral change which will take some time in terms of what exactly has been expected. If you are really able to build it up with a proper milestone, with a proper checkpoints at a specific interval, then you can say yes, whether this training which was actually been done in an initial side of it is really worked well for us. So I think this is the only way you can really be double sure that whatever investment you are doing it is really given you return out of it.
No, very, very interesting, Tanmay. But can you also give some examples of what these milestones could be, especially in the context of the leadership development?
So milestones always you can always have a competency-wise milestones. You can always go one by one. Suppose let's say there is a specific 3 competency where you are finding a gap. Okay, now for that purpose, you have to decide, you have to drill down further. Okay, what type of is it the specific incidents? Is it specific project which has been given and person is able to deliver not? So there are always few contexts which you have to set, which particular competency which will be measured in which are the contexts. It might be in some project basis, it might be in some live things which has been given, it might be in their day-to-day routine, it might be some special project which has been given. You can always then measure with the milestone, yeah, this is the 3 months, what type of improvement has come. And behavioral competence, there is always a bar basis. Again, it can be quantifiable. It all depends on how robust you are making those bars and how robust you are able to track on this. It is very much possible. It's very much possible to do it.
So that's what I mean. As you rightly said, we need to do away firstly with the cookie cutter approach. Obviously, have a competency framework, yes, but also measure what you have with that person to begin with, and understand what are the specific needs of that person from the perspective of leadership development, etc. And then set milestones based on behavioral competencies or skills and so on and so forth, and have dip checks of every month or every quarter or whatever it is. Do it according. No, makes a lot of sense. Thanks so much for your perspectives on that. That's very deep, So one other thing which has now become a buzzword more and more, and it's gaining a lot of steam as well, is that there is increasing talk about diversity in the workforce. It could be women, it could be people with a mix of different states of origin, people who come from different religions. It could be people who could have PWDs, people with disabilities and so on and so forth, or special abilities, if you will. Yeah. So what is your take on that, and how much of that is going to be at play for HR in the future?
No, I think, honestly, in retail and e-commerce space, especially what we are seeing, we are absolutely having a decent amount of gender diversity is already there. But yeah, the other aspects of diversity, there is always. So again, we are at a different stage. So the different kind of diversities, you are having a different starting point to work on it. There are few places where you are in the midway, few places you are already in a good side of it. So I think I'm not finding any challenge. Yes, gender diversity is not a problem, especially retail and e-commerce space. I think a lot of people are preferring this type of space, and there are already a good amount of workforce, especially the gender diversity is decent in this two space for sure. As far as other aspects are concerned, it all depends on, again, the evolution of the company. Okay, because somebody has to embrace it. So let's say, especially those companies who are in the growth stage, steady growth stage, or those companies who are into realignment stage, there is a good space where some can definitely do corrections depending on what is my overall objective. So it's a journey. You have to go make a plan for 3 years or 5 years kind of it. Then only you can start working on it. Results will come after 2 years, 3 years down the line. Again, you have to have a specific checkpoints which you have to make it, that up to which extent I have done it, and what is the outcome of it. It's not about just simply giving diversity. There has to be also ensure that the meritocracy and the other things remain intact, and they are really giving us output also at the end of the day. So when you are starting, you may not have the very concrete milestones at that time. This is the final outcome which I am aspiring, but we have to also ensure that there is a journey which has been charted out. There has to be a scale up. You should scale up over a period of time with a specific checkpoints. And I think I've seen organizations who are having diverse. It's not only the theories, and it's not about the DIB and all this of the world, but it is really those organizations who have really done it in a right spirit over a period of time. I think they have improved. So, but everybody is telling 3 years or 5 years down the line, people have started looking at the results. So if it is a part of your overall vision of the company, definitely this will bring not only, and there are always indirect benefits in terms of productivity, in terms of engagement, in terms of the climate service scores and all these things. It is always creating a very good positive impact. So I think I'm not finding any challenge in terms of gender diversity is already decent in this space, and other diversities, I think it's a long way to go. But there are few organizations who are already in the upside of it, so we can inspire from those organizations for sure.
No, so consistently, what I'm able to glean from your take and insights, Tanmay, and that's very refreshing to see as well, is that be it any intervention, be it diversity in hiring, be it training, upskilling, or any kind of intervention, be it even hiring in general, right? You want to make sure that there is a journey, number one, that has to be there for the people or the program. Number two, you have to have measurable outcomes, and number three, to make sure that points 1 and 2 are there, you have to have milestones for them, because no journey is complete without milestones, and no intervention is measurable without milestones as well. So that's something I'm consistently able to see, and that's very refreshing, like I said, because it's not the typical HR approach that we are seeing these days. But then I think with people such as you coming from a very different generation with a very diverse sort of experience, even in a 15-16 year period, I think this is the kind of richness that such people are able to bring to the table. That's wonderful to see. Also, just To sum it up, last but not the least, wanted to understand, since we're talking about digitalization, technology intervention and all that, what are Tanmay's, say, top 3 priorities when it comes to leveraging technology to deliver better outcomes for his organization?
Yeah, so I think we are already we are an organization where we are absolutely having first more advantage compared to any of our peers in this particular space. And this organization has always been very, very open in terms of so technology is something where we are the one who are always embracing, and we are always looking forward. And this is one part of it. So I think I'm not finding any challenge as far as my current organization is concerned. They are definitely looking forward, and all the aspects. So it's not only about the normal thing which every organization will do it, but yes, in terms of what are the best practices. And again, we are never embracing ourselves with, or we are never benchmarking ourselves with only with our same industry peers. We are always looking at it, which are the other industry who are absolutely cutting edge of the technology, which type of best practices which they are having it. And we are always open in terms of there are multiple interventions, immersion sessions are happening from our side, and I think we are kind enough to get support even from other industry people and industry players also, that they are also sometimes. So it's a good exchange of ideas as well as the best practices, and also we are trying to ensure that how can we really embrace it, whether it is, obviously you have to customize, you have to see how it will be more suiting to your organization. But in terms of technology side of it, I have seen this organization has always embraced. That is one part of it. Second is, obviously companies also open in terms of any of the new developments. So today it's very easier said than done in terms of the omni-channel or the any of the other things. Definitely companies very serious about it, and obviously there are a lot of challenges, pros and cons of this type of thing. So you have to ensure that you are always coming up with a robust solution, so you don't require to go unnecessarily to and fro. So that is something which is the rock solid base of this organization. And third thing I will say, it's all about the we will say how to upskill in a systematic way, in a more organized way, and definitely we can always have early adopters where we can try to make them role model for others to adopt further. So I think we are trying to find out who are the influencers, who are the people who are really early adopters in terms of any new technology, and why can't we have a train the trainer module down the line. If we are really able to have these people can further cascade down the line, they will ensure that we are really able to trickle down the entire effect down the line. So it's a journey again, but I will say this is the right approach, and organization is really open about it. So these are the 3 things I will say we are having an edge compared to others.
Great. Wonderful to hear that. So thank you so much for your time and also for your very insightful thoughts and commentary on how digitalization is revolutionizing retail and e-commerce space in particular. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.